Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Ed Nunez, Athletic Director of UNM. And Ed, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
I tell you, you got me excited when you got to come on, and I want to thank you from Proview Networks. I mean, that just shows you how great you want to be part of the community. And when you took this opportunity, it's a pleasure to have you on.
I appreciate it. When my family and I made the decision to be here, one of the things we wanted to do was immerse ourselves in the community, and this is just one of those many opportunities that I want our fans to know who I am and what I'm about. And I'm very as good as you could see. If you need to ask me a question, I'm here for you. So
well. Reader's Digest of who you are. You're going to give us a little background of how you got to Albuquerque. The road to Albuquerque. Here we go.
The road to Albuquerque. Here it's getting perfect time with March Madness.
Right.
We start talking about the road to the Final Four. But I think it's as a former student athlete, born and raised in Miami, Florida. My parents were Cuban immigrants that came to the States and had an opportunity to really just start their lives from scratch. And I learned very early in my life that hard work and dedication, what you had to do to get to where you wanted to be, you had to find a way and be committed to that process. And had an opportunity to go play at the University of Florida for Coach Billy Donovan. From there, had an opportunity.
Well, talk about that experience. You got me on basketball.
No, that's
Forget
why.
about everything else.
I
mean, Donovan is like. Were you in the championship era, or you were just in the beginning of the program?
I was in the beginning stages. I got when he got there was I was sitting out a year, and he came in and honestly was trying to take the program back to where it had been several years before that, which was the Final Four. So he was coming in and trying to just have a resurgence with the program. And I had an opportunity. I knew Coach Donovan because he had recruited several of my high school teammates to Kentucky when he was an assistant. He actually had an assistant coach on his staff that was an assistant coach at my high school years before, Anthony Grant, who's now the head coach at Dayton University. So for me, it was a logical, this is great. This is what I wanted to be a part of, his style of play, and always having an opportunity to build something and know that I was in that initial stages that helped build UF basketball to what it is today. So it was a no-brainer. He came in and the energy, I mean, heck, there were times he was practicing with us out there on the court. So to see that kind of energy out of a 30-year-old, because that's what he was when he first took the job.
Time flies.
Oh, God, it's unbelievable. But it gives me good perspective on where I am today and seeing someone like Coach Weir, at his age, being able to do certain things. So it gives me an opportunity to really understand the ins and outs of what they go through, how those coaches establishing a program, what it means. So it was great. I had an opportunity to play for him, then coach. He offered me an opportunity to be a graduate assistant, and was there for 2 years. Was, again, just such a sponge, just trying to learn as much as I could learn from some of these great coaches that were around me. And, he was pushing me down the road. He said, you're going to be a coach. I'm telling you, this is going to be, and I thought I was going to be for a while there. But in my back of my mind, I knew this was an opportunity for me to learn the other side of it. Really understand how I've always loved the college athletics, the whole grand picture of college, the world of intercollegiate athletics and running a department. So to be a coach and be able to say, you know what, I understand that component, that side of it, really was one of the main driving forces to me to try to be a coach. I was good at it, but I didn't love it. So I had an opportunity to go to Marquette University, was there for about a year and a half, and working with Tom Crean, had some pretty good basketball players. One of them was Dwayne Wade. Had an opportunity to coach him, and at that point I realized, what, I love coaching, I really do. And the reason I loved it is because I got to help kids become better in their trade. But the reality is, I wanted to be in this world of college athletics, and reached out to one of my mentors. He offered me an opportunity to go I asked if I would take an opportunity at Vanderbilt, and from there I was there 2.5 years to LSU, and then now here.
I'll tell you, what experience LSU. I mean, I just think about. I mean, here I'm a native New Mexican, from Clovis, New Mexico, and I had a chance to play for UNM in basketball, which is, a great feat in itself for a local guy, and had a successful for a local guy, and a successful college career. But you think of LSU. I mean, that was like, you just think of football and you think of all that's the first thing you think of is football. But then, the success at LSU is like, just because there's other programs that have been very successful. Their baseball program is one of the top, and of course Bregman was from Albuquerque. You probably got indoctrinated by Bregman, right?
Well, right before him. I was fortunate to see him in all his years there. But you hit on a key point, which was really what got me to understand this world of college athletics. Is I was at a program at the time. The athletic director was Skip Bertman, legendary baseball coach at LSU, had won 5 national championships, built that program to what it is today. To be able to work for a gentleman like that, to understand the dynamics and how he looked at things in a different perspective. He came in and said, we want to be successful in every sport, not just football, not just baseball, not just basketball, every sport. And it was evident from that first moment that we were going to put the emphasis on every student athlete to be great. And you saw it. You saw it happening from the tracks of the world. Softball made it to the College World Series. Baseball wins another national championship. Football wins 2 during my time there, 2 national championships. Basketball makes it to the Final Four. Women's make it to 5 consecutive Final Fours, women's basketball. So when you look at it across the board, then you have the golfs of the world winning national championships, and the tennis is competing at the highest level. So gymnastics finishing in the top runner-up last year.
I was going to say gymnastics is unbelievable as far as far. Well, I want to make this point. You just said though, you came from a program that basically 5, if I'm correct, in my estimate, 5 programs. They made their own money. I mean, they were self-supportive to a certain point.
To a certain point, right. And I think that's the misnomer is you're always spending money to make money. And so those sports like the baseballs, I mean, what we made in baseball was unbelievable. And it's probably like no other program in the country. But the fact is, you also have to spend money on scholarships and everything else. So it was close. They were making a little bit, wasn't making a lot. Basketball was bringing in money. Football was bringing in. Women's basketball was doing really well for themselves. Gymnastics, here's a sport now that she's taken it from 2,000 people to right now they're averaging over 10,000 for a gymnastics meet at LSU. I mean, so those are the things. How she got from there to there is what I learned, what I try to take and trying to implement here. What were those grassroots projects that we could do here at other sports to build them, that hopefully we have it one day to that point. So I took a lot from my experiences at LSU because it was such a great opportunity to be able to grow and learn, but learn all those different nuances that make it so special.
Well, Ed, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week, and then we're going to come back, talk more about UNM and you as the new athletic director.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Transition layup is up, and it's good. Their first string drive up and in, good that time by Oyuku. And he has fallen. We're going to the line. Miles with 24 points. Transition 3 from Derek Miles is no good. But Isaiah Ortega and Johnny on the spot. Another skill by Jeffrey. Zero step layup something is good. Former 5 seconds left before we got to go. Good move by Mohammed. They pass it again. Layup at the buzzer is good. The 1-1. This is what a Shagun can do that. How about that? Right at Arroyo, puts it down and in, and one.
walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We have Ed Nunez here, and you know, the readers die. You got here, you're here, but I got to tell you my story about Ed Nunez, and it was the first time I've seen you. I've seen you on TV. I've seen you doing all those, you know, signing up and all the public speaking you've been doing, but physically, the first time I saw you was you were on the side of the road going to a football with the first football game that you went to, and I see Janice running down the deal, and we're like, what? So we thought she had the wreck first, and then we saw her at the game, and she says, "Oh no, it was Ed. I had a fender bender," and I was going, "Oh no, it's the first game." And he goes, "Welcome to New Mexico, by the way." So
it was. And I'll tell you this quick story because I thought it was great that. Had an opportunity to head out of the hotel, head into my first game. This is going to be the game that we're going to be recognized on the field. I have my wife, Jane, and my 2 girls, Elizabeth and Anna. They're sitting in the back seat, and we're leaving the hotel trying to get to the game, and Janice is the car in front because, again, I'm still trying to understand how to get to the game. And one thing leads to another. Here comes a car behind me flying, and honestly, I just don't know if they didn't see. They changed lanes. But next thing I know, I'm getting smashed from behind, and so at that point, you know, of course, we had to pull over to the side of the road, and this is the New Mexico State game. So, you know, we have a really good fan base that's coming out to the game, and traffic is slowing down, and here, so I just got out of the car. I was waiting for the law enforcement to show up. I told Janice, I said, "Janice, this is marketing 101. At that point, I just started waving at people, saying, "Come to the game," showing them, you know, where to go, and you know, you have to make the best of it. It was my first, hey, welcome to New Mexico. And traffic or driving is not the best at times, but you know what? It was a one-time situation. I know it happened, but my family, we made it to the game ultimately, and we had a great time, and things worked out.
One thing about you, just you embrace that. I mean, you like the people. You want to know the people. It doesn't matter on what level. You just enjoy that. And I want to thank you. You had Wally from Geckos and from he said he sent you an email, and sure enough, he showed up at the tailgate and came by, and he was like, and he's just the greatest, Lobo fan, just without being a Lobo fan, if that makes sense. I mean, he's just kind of under the, but he has a great following. He's been in business for a while, but that just kind of set the tone of this guy is out to really. He cares about New Mexico people, and I think that's the biggest thing that, just what in your 5 months, I want to critique 5 months that you've really made a great, and just even coming here to Proview Networks, it just shows you that you're embracing the community.
Absolutely. You know, my family taught me how to be around people, but it's just my personality. It's who I am, and I'm not going to be fake for somebody just to be. Who you see is what you get with me. And, to have an opportunity to get here 3 months before my family got here really gave me an opportunity to just get into the culture more than ever, get into those tailgate lots, meet the people, try to get out as much. I think I did 45 events in about 52 days in my first 52 days here. And I did it purposely because I want people to know who I am. And I'm not, and again, what you see is what you get with me. And it's about me representing our institution, acting as an ambassador to our institution, not just our athletic department, but our institution. And I want people to know that we're going to do things differently. And I am going to be, you can engage conversations with me. You're going to see me as much as I can possibly be out there. But I appreciate it because I love to be around people. That was one of the main driving forces for me to come here, was understanding the culture of New Mexico, hearing from others what made New Mexico so successful in so many different ways. That helped me decide when I wanted to come here why I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Another thing, and I want to thank you on this part of it. It's just not Albuquerque. You've already made numerous trips outside of Albuquerque. You haven't been this time. You've embraced the whole state of New Mexico, and that's just, marketing 101. Just get out and if you were, because there's New Mexico's, as you learn, there's a northern part of the state and there's a southern part of the state, and then there's little different philosophies between the northern and the southern part, and if you just go out and talk and communicate, they're all the same.
And you're right, and that's, again, it goes back to brand. We want to build our brand. We want to build it not just for athletics, but build our brand as an institution in all our communities, because we are the flagship institution of the state, and we have to make sure that everyone out there has an opportunity to have that communication with us. So I've had an opportunity to make it to Roswell, Vaughn, Santa Fe, and numerous other places. I've got a trip planned to Gallup here in the next, actually this month of March, and a couple
and it's
other places.
amazing how the people embrace you.
This is great.
I mean, like you're like, trust me, you're big time, okay? But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, but it's just amazing. I mean, even little Proview, Steve Davis from Proview, we go into a smaller town, and people know it. They're so thankful and they're so humble to have somebody come in just to acknowledge that they're a town of New Mexico. That's
what it's about. Again, it goes back to I'm actually more excited to see them and learn their cultures and learn the ins and outs. The example I mentioned a few minutes ago with Roswell, have an opportunity to go to NEMI, meet that administration, those student athletes.
You didn't see a Roger Staubach sign.
I did. I saw it all. They did a tour. They gave me a tour of the campus, which is a beautiful campus. The superintendent over there does a tremendous job, and his whole staff keeping that pristine. I was overly impressed with their campus. I had been told about it, but until I got there and actually experienced it for myself, now I understand, what it really, what NEMI's about and what they're about. So to be able to go into those communities and understand that is part of why we're here. I want people to know that my family and I are committed to this community. We're committed to this institution.
Well, you didn't see any aliens while you're there.
I did.
Did you stop in and do it? Did you take a little?
No. I did ask people.
Did you even know about in your history?
I did. I've done enough research, and to be there and know the history of Roswell from that perspective, I did have to ask, how far is it from here to here and here? And maybe one of these days I'll make that trip with my family so we can actually experience that side of it. But honestly, this was more of understanding the bigger picture.
Well, back to the family. I mean, when you're doing this, when you go to Carlsbad, you got to make sure you go down to the Carlsbad cake. I mean, that's an experience. Your kids are going to love it. I mean, again, Roswell is the aliens is kind of a great story and historical story. But
we're excited to be able to take advantage of the skiing and all these opportunities that, unfortunately, being Louisiana, you're not going to be skiing anywhere unless it's on the water sports. So to be able to do things like that and see some of these great Carlsbad caves and this and all these different opportunities, that's important. That's an opportunity for my kids to learn about history and experience a whole new culture.
Well, in the north part, you got the Aztec Indians. I mean, you got those ruins or something. I mean, it's amazing, really, what New Mexico has to offer that people really don't really know, and it is called the land of enchantment, and I think it's already kind of growing on you in just your 5 months here.
Absolutely has been. I mean, you wake up here, and I know it hasn't rained in maybe a handful of times in my whole 5 months being here, but to see the beautiful landscape, to see those mountains, to see the sunrise and the sunsets, again, you get spoiled, I guess, if you've lived here your whole life, but for me, here's someone coming in new, to be able to experience all those different uniques, the balloon festival, those kind of things, to see them for the first time, I appreciate that. I mean, I see the beauty in it. So I honestly, I've really appreciated the culture and just the landscape of New Mexico and Albuquerque in period.
Well, we'll come back. We're going to talk more about Ed Nunez, UNM athletics, and actually, I'm having a great time.
Absolutely, me too.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club, or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Ed Nunez having a great time here, and
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I gotta have this question: Why New Mexico? I mean, I'm looking at your bloodlines, and I'm looking and we're very fortunate to have you, and I just want you to know that deal. But I'm just, I mean, with you know, there was. Trust me, it wasn't an easy situation to come in, and I don't want to go into the details about that. But I'm just saying, why New Mexico?
You know, when I started in this journey of this career, I wanted to make sure that I found a place that I can make a difference. And being at LSU 14 years really gave me an opportunity to understand a different perspective, different culture. When I looked at this opportunity, I saw a lot of similarities in where I was at LSU and where I wanted to be. Being a very the culture and the fan base and the community, being a very engaging community, that was important to me. I found that here at New Mexico, there was very much there was a lot of similarities between the two. And then I also understood that this is a very politically driven state, very similar to Louisiana. So I understood some of how the dynamics work in the politics.
Could you explain that to me?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know,
I've been here my whole life.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, I think it comes with the territory. I think every state has some politics that you have to go through, but I think understanding that you have to be a part of that. You can't shy away from those situations. You have to be involved. You have to
embrace it.
You embrace it, but you also have to be engaging, and you have to let them know why it's so important. So from my standpoint, I looked at that as a positive. I looked at this state as a positive. You know, I looked at so many things at UNM, the history and the tradition. Did it have challenges? Absolutely. And we're still going to have challenges.
But every school has challenges.
Every school has it.
Challenges.
Every school. And I had some opportunities to go some other places, but I was always very careful about my decision on where I wanted to go next, because I wanted to put myself in a position where I can make a difference. And my family could be there, and I could see my kids growing up in that community. So those are things that I looked at, and it hasn't disappointed me. I mean, yes, there's been challenges, like I said. Yes, we've had some opportunities where I would have liked to focus more on opportunities to continue to build our program sooner rather than later. But that's how, you know, you come in with a 90-day plan or a 120-day plan. The fact is, it's a plan, but you have to be willing to change it, to tweak it a little bit, and understand that things are going to come about, and you have to be able to address those and then go back to your plan. The plan's more of a template that you have to understand what you have to do. But the fact is, when I came in here, I knew there were some opportunities that we had to address, and but I knew that if we change the culture, we change our standards, we change the mindset of how we're going to do things, why we're going to do things, and how we could get from where we are today to even a better place. I knew we can make this happen. And we've got some great coaches, great student athletes, and looking at all those factors, it was a no-brainer for me and my wife and my family.
Well, one thing that I just kind of reading up on, is, there's only been 13 athletic directors, so the longevity is also good. It's not like, or if you do a great job, you may be moving on, which, that's always that opportunity. I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, then that's just the way it is. But
it's part of this career. I think everybody understands that there's changes that happen constantly. I worry about myself today, and that's all I can do. You know, people ask me all the time, how long are you going to be here? The reality is I'm going to be here as long as I can be here for. I've got a contract for 5 years, but the fact is I focus on what's happening right now and how we can make our situation better.
I'm going to give you a little word of advice. I said it earlier, land of enchantment.
Oh.
I mean, you get your kids and going to school and you get into the culture of it. It makes it hard. I mean, I've heard a lot of people come into Albuquerque and they're still here. So and I'm one of them, okay?
But that's fine. That part I can handle because, you know what, the fact is if we're here for some duration, that means we're doing some good things. And
That's a good point. I like that, yeah.
We're making things happen. We're being positive. Things are getting better because there's a lot of jobs out there that people get in and think it's a great job, and then 2 years later they're out of a job. So just because you feel like the grass is green on the other side doesn't mean it always is. So from my standpoint, I'm taking it 1 year at a time, and I know I've got an opportunity within the next 4 years, besides this year, to make something really great here. And if I can do that, hopefully I get an opportunity to continue to be here. But we have to look at opportunities and look at how we can get better. That's been my focus since day one.
And jumping on to the little fun side of it, I mean, this is March Madness coming up, and you get to go I'm jealous. You get to go to the Mountain West. I mean, I know you'll be working, but I'm just maybe I'm not jealous, but I'm just saying you get to go. And what a great time! Coach Ware's doing some, and then Coach Bradley's he's got an opportunity too. I mean, it's kind of neat. You got the fans are back in the stands. There's people talking about Lobo basketball, and that's got to be a great feeling.
It is. You know, I got here and I've heard about the tradition and heard about the Dream Style Arena, the pit, the excitement, how people, when they're wanting to get that going, how they get. And I've been able to start experiencing that. Women's basketball had some huge games throughout the year, this year, that they've had that place rocking. Men's basketball has had that place rocking even as of this past weekend. We're going to have one more game coming up, and we want everybody to be there for that senior night for both our women's and our men. So come on out. We have great ticket specials. We'd love to have you there. We're going to have some food specials as well. Make it what it is. And I tell everybody all the time to be able to be a part of giving our student athletes that experience that they deserve. I don't care if you go watch football, basketball, baseball. Go watch tennis, golf, women's soccer, men's soccer, all the sports that we have, because they need the support. They need to know that the Lobo fans are behind them. So that, from my standpoint, yeah, we all need money. Yes, we'd like them to go to the basketball because they're buying tickets and all this stuff, and football. But the reality is, go support our student athletes. Find a way to do it. We have many ways to do it, but I love March Madness. To get back to your question, I apologize. March Madness is awesome. I love it.
No, I was just engaged with what you're doing.
I'm gonna have 2 days of meetings in Vegas before our teams get going. So, I will be there from some business. We're going to meet with some donors. We have a great entourage of our fan base that's going to be coming down to Vegas. So that's even more exciting for me. So if I can do that, that would be that's my big excitement for it.
Well, I just want to thank you for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and good luck
pleasure.
to you in your endeavors with the deal. And guess what? You're going to get to be interviewed by Ed Nunez.
I'm excited.
When I first met you, that's the first thing I said. Look, I got to get you guys together because I want Ed Nunez interviewing Ed Nunez.
So we're going to make that happen because I'm more excited probably than you are.
So all right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.